Hi, I'm Bybreen Samuels and welcome back to another episode of Soul Stirring Astrology, Sun Sign series, and today it's the Sun in Aquarius. So the key phrase is I know, and words associated with Aquarius are originality, independence and humanitarianism. So the image or the symbol associated with Aquarius is the water bearer, which suggests that as an Aquarian you are pouring the life force into humanity as well as giving us spiritual energy to live a very free and expansive life. Now you're a fixed air sign, so you're very rooted into the principles and concepts that you believe in, and you draw your sense of self-awareness through your relationships with groups. So your opposing sign is Leo. And with Leo, there's a sense of being overtly egotistical. Whereas with Aquarius, you are covertly egotistical. With Leo, there's a sense of self-awareness, self-mastery, self-understanding and confidence that's gained from within, what lies within the person. Whereas as an Aquarian, you gain your self-awareness and your self-confidence because of your relationship with others. However, there's a slight problem that you hit because you think of the group or other people and relationships, and you think of them in terms of how people ought to be, instead of looking at them in terms of who they really are. And when you're focusing on what people ought to be, it's because this level of judgment that you feel that if they're not in line or in tune with your sense of social justice or social issues, then they're not worth bothering about. So when we're looking at the actual mythology around Aquarius, we're dealing with Uranus, and Uranus is one of the rulers of Aquarius. And Uranus means the sky, the heavens above. And so there's an unfettered aspect to your personality. You really do bask in the sense of being very spontaneous and living freely. And Uranus was only grounded when he married his wife, the goddess Gar. And so she was able to ground Uranus. So as an Aquarian, there's a part of you that's very rebellious. But the lesson here is how are you able to compromise or constrain in some way this rebellious streak so that you're able to live within the rules that society has laid down? Because if you're unable to bridge that gap or to close the gap, you're going to be finding it very difficult to take us into this search that you're on for the Holy Grail. Now, the Holy Grail is important to you because you're seeking this ideal life, not only for yourself, but for other people. So it's important for you to find a way, as much as you want to be this person who's part of the group, you're also a person who's very independent, but you've got to blend the two. Now, there are two rulers to Aquarius. So we've got Saturn on the one hand and Uranus on the other. So Saturn is about limitations and borders and responsibility. And whereas Uranus wants to break free and live in the here and now, and Saturn has this regressive aspect. So as an Aquarian, you're somebody who's oscillating between identifying what the structures are, but recognizing that where they've decayed, they need to be torn down so that something new can be born. So the Aquarian journey is navigating these two particular signs. Now, if you're somebody who's lived their first part of their life, for example, up until your Saturn return, it's about understanding what type of Aquarian you are. Are you a Saturn-ruled Aquarian or a Uranian-ruled Aquarian? So a Saturn-ruled Aquarian could be somebody who up until about 28, 29 has lived your life following the rules, following convention, following what your parents and society have laid down for you. So you may have done the tried and tested things, whereby you've got the career and you've got the prestige and you've got the material trappings in your life. However, you may find by the time you hit your first Saturn return, around 28, 29, is that you could resign from your job and take up a profession or a career that might appear to be quirky or unconventional, or tapping into the new age Uranian aspect of your personality. You could also leave your job and travel the world with an unusual group of people. So that's an indication that you could be somebody who the first part of your life you've lived in the very Saturnian world, but as you move into your Saturn return, you're picking up and engaging with the Uranian aspect of your personality. Conversely, if you're somebody who, up until your Saturn return, has lived a very Uranian life, you could be quite rebellious and have a complete blatant disregard for rules and regulations. And then when you hit your Saturn return, you might find that actually you're paying more attention and respecting what Saturn can bring into your life. So you then choose to live the more conventional aspects to your life. So you're trying to balance these two, particularly because as an Aquarian, it's important for you to be asking the right sets of questions at the right times, because if you don't, then terrible consequences can actually take place within your life. And as you're moving along and searching for this holy grail, it's important that you take the right people around you along the journey with you. Hence why it's important that you understand which type of Aquarian you are and you're asking the right types of questions. Aquarius and Uranus in particular shows you where you've been cut off in life. It's suddenly something has happened and you're then disconnected with the world that you once knew. Now, as an Aquarian, that's going to be quite troubling for you, and the reason being is because you're really committed to truth and trust, loyalty and respect within your relationships, and then you've been suddenly separated or cut off. Now, if we turn to mythology and think about Uranus, now he was castrated by his son Cronus, and his penis was thrown into the ocean. So obviously the penis is connected with the reproductive system. And so this cutting off is obviously a terrible thing that happens, but also it could be a gift within that, because for Uranus, for example, his daughter Aphrodite, the goddess of love, was born into the ocean. So the key theme or lesson here is, although you may be cut off and it's a very painful experience because you're really committed and associating with people who you feel share the same ideals, it can also show you where you have outgrown aspects of your life, and being cut off or severed or separated is the opportunity. There are new opportunities that are waiting to come into your life, and therefore this could be the time for you to embrace them. So with your life, it's about looking at where it is that you may have outgrown aspects of your life, which brings me to the question of the day. And essentially it is, if you have been cut off, which area of your life can you now explore? Put your answers in the comment box below. Don't be bashful. You know, I like connecting with you. Any other questions or queries, let's get into dialogue in the comment box below. Feel free to share this episode with other people in your network, and do tell them about the Sun Sign series, so that obviously you have a plethora of friends who have different signs and they can check out what their sign actually means to them in a new and deeper way. Also, feel free to like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again on the next episode, where I will be dealing with the last sign in the zodiac, and that will be the Sun in Pisces. Until then, stay well.